So let me just do that cringy YouTuber thing and start this video off with a deep sigh and by saying that I didn't really plan on making this video. When I first started this channel, I wrote down a list of videos I wanted to do and have been picking each topic one at a time. In fact, I had planned to write the script for an entirely different video, one that I still want to make at some point, so don't worry about that, I guess. It will happen, just maybe 2,000 years from now, who knows. In today's video, I just kind of wanted to talk about myself a little bit, get a little bit vulnerable. Even though a lot of people probably won't be all that interested in watching it, that's fine with me. I still kind of want to talk about it. However, before I get into talking about all I've been going through, I did just want to say that I appreciate everyone here. Even though I haven't been posting a lot for reasons I will get into later in this video, everyone has been incredibly supportive and kind to me. I've been gaining a lot of new subscribers lately, people have been leaving such kind comments on my videos, and hell, some people have even reached out to me and were just so amazing on other platforms. I appreciate every compliment more than you could ever know. This is going to be a little bit of a random side tangent here, but this amazing artist called The Unlocked Void on Instagram reached out to me and drew me art featuring a redesign I created of the White Lady for my Hollow Knight AU. They were just so kind to me, and their art is just so amazing, so if you're watching this, thank you so much, it means the world. I will leave a link to their Instagram page down in the description so that you can use that to go follow them. Their art is so beautiful, and I encourage you all to give them some support. With that out of the way, let's just dive right into today's topic. Lately, I've been feeling extremely down on myself. It's not exactly a new development. I've always kind of struggled with self-love and especially self-care. It's just always something that's been extremely difficult for me. However, in the past year or so, and especially in the last 4 months, it's gotten so much worse. It's kind of the same reason why I don't make videos as much as I probably should, which I'll elaborate more on that in a little bit. But a little while back, when I was talking to my sister and telling him about, how I've been feeling regarding my art and my writing, he looked at me and told me that I had something called imposter syndrome. Before this conversation, I had never really heard of imposter syndrome. Well, I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. At the time, I just kind of brushed off his comment because I thought he was, doing that thing where he just tries to explain all of someone's problems by categorizing them. Of course, no shade on him or people that do that in general. I know that in his case, categorizing things and putting them into boxes helps him better visualize his problems and properly sort them. So I just kind of assumed that's what my sister was doing when he made the comment. I assumed that his words at the time were just about sorting me into a box that he could easily file away, and I thought that even if his words did apply to me, it would be only in an extremely vague sense, so I didn't even look into it. However, just the other night when I was feeling really down on my accomplishments, I suddenly remembered what he'd said to me and decided to look into it. Long story short, I read a lot of different articles about imposter syndrome and thought, wow, that's what it is. That's what it's always been. And when that realization hit me, I also realized that I wanted to make this video about it. I wanted to tell people, to explain, to get this down and on video, to be open. I know that it's not always the biggest brain move to spill one's guts on the internet where anyone can see, and in a lot of ways I'm scared to even record this video and, God's forbid, post it, but I do think that it's an important step for me to be open and honest like I'm going to try and be here. It also occurred to me that this video might be able to help someone else going through a similar struggle, especially if they're like me and had no idea imposter syndrome was even a thing. And in that sense, I do hope that this video might be able to provide some solace to them. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but Now onto the topic of what is imposter syndrome. As defined by WebMD, this term, also known as imposter phenomenon, fraud syndrome, or imposter experience, describes someone who feels that they aren't as capable as others think and fears that they'll be exposed as a fraud. Though it is not recognized as an official mental health condition, imposter syndrome is still a term coined and used today by psychologists. Essentially, if I were to further explain it in more words and how it applies to me, it's almost like a forever lingering sense of inadequacy that persists even if others around you praise your abilities. Your accomplishments feel incredibly useless or lesser than how others perceive them. You feel that you haven't earned any success you have and that your praise can be attributed to external factors besides your own skills. Furthermore, it seems that those that suffer with imposter syndrome also tend to be intense perfectionists and often struggle with depression and anxiety. So, when reading into imposter syndrome, looking at all of the symptoms and negative effects it can have on your professional, academic, and personal life, I found that every single symptom and effect was something that I had experienced in one way or another. It kind of felt like I was reading something that was purposely about me, in a way. Like, I feel so called out right now, what the heck? All jokes aside, I have just decided to sort of ramble about my personal experience here with each different way that I've been affected by imposter syndrome. It's sort of therapeutic in a way, even if it is a little bit nerve-wracking. I just thought it would be good to explain myself and to get all of this off my chest and maybe help someone in the process. I'm just gonna start off with my experience here on YouTube, I guess. I started watching YouTube videos when I was a really young kid, and around when I turned 12 or 13, I started wanting to make videos myself. I even wrote a bunch of cringy video scripts and posted them to Wattpad when I was a kid. Yeah, I know it's cringy, get over it. Luckily, technical limitations greatly impeded me from making anything. Thank the goddess for that. Imagine my 12-year-old ass cursing everyone with my shitty uninformed takes. So in December 2021, I believe it was, when I started finally making videos, I cranked them out one by one. I had so many ideas, so many stories to share, and so many opinions that I wanted to get out, they just sort of leaked out of me at first. However, even though I was getting and am still getting so much genuinely kind support, every video that I put out just felt wrong, bad. Now I don't really think that most YouTubers watch their own videos, well, at least not recreationally. They may watch them a few times during editing, but after they're posted, I doubt many people get much entertainment from hearing themselves talk in a similar vein to how my videos are, so it's probably not a shock that I don't like watching my own videos. But even during editing, it is such a chore. I don't think I'm particularly funny or particularly interesting, especially because there are so many channels similar to mine that I believe to be so much better than me. I feel like everyone else in the community has such better quality than I do, and the worst thing about it is that I have to listen to my voice. My voice is already not my favorite thing in person. It tends to be incredibly unexpressive and flat. Being an autistic person and all, that probably doesn't come as a surprise. As such, I have to literally write down what my tone of voice should be to remind myself to speak that way while reading scripts. I just also don't really like the way that I sound, especially on recording. I sound so much more nasally than I do in person, and the scratchiness is cranked up to 11. I also sound more high-pitched. I want to be all sultry and sexy-like, not sound like a little girl with a fucking smoking problem. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I can't really change it without some hard work and intense pain, so I probably won't. And even though I just said all of that, I know that there are people that like my voice. I've gotten comments on other videos saying that they like my voice, and my girlfriend says that she likes it too. You know, you would probably think that I would feel more confident in my voice when people compliment it and say that they like it, but I really don't. I always feel like people are lying to me, have some sort of bias in my favor, even when that assertion makes no sense. If people online didn't like my voice, they would probably say as much. I know that a lot of other YouTubers get negative and hurtful comments about their voices, so if my voice was really as offensive as I think it is, people would probably point that out to me. Logic dictates that if my voice was bad, then I would get little to no positive comments about it and would instead probably get negative ones. And yet, I still don't feel like my voice is okay. I still feel that it's annoying and nasally and disgusting and rage-inducing no matter how many times I am told otherwise. And this is true for positive comments in general about my videos. I hate my videos. I think that they're bad, and no matter how many compliments and how much appreciation and support that I receive, my opinion never truly changes. This is not to say that I don't appreciate the positive comments or the love or the support, because that's not true. A positive comment on a video I've made actually often makes my whole day. When a YouTube notification pops up and I see it, I always just feel so touched, so blessed, so loved. It's just that the feeling doesn't really sink in or last. It just goes back to how it has always been, because it's a thought process so deeply ingrained that I cannot imagine being without it. This is why I've been slacking on making videos. The thought of having to write a long script, to listen to my voice ad nauseum during the editing process, and then having to post something that I'm not proud of is just motivation killing. This doesn't mean that I hate making videos or that I truly, in my heart of hearts, think that I'm at the bottom of the barrel. It just feels like I'm not enough and will never be enough. And this doesn't really stop at just my videos either. Moving on to the topic of art and writing, I don't really like my abilities in either of those fields either. In terms of writing, I'm not going to discuss it too much or in depth at all because, my writing is primarily, you see, my writing is, how do we say it in a way that's YouTube friendly? I'm just gonna go with, it's spicy bug fanfiction that is not safe for the workplace. Maybe I'll share my secret AO3 account one day, who knows. But regardless, I don't really think that I'm very skilled as an author, even though my friends and teachers have told me that I am in the past. I write a lot recreationally and spend hours upon days upon weeks on many of my works. An example is the last one that I wrote, in which it ended up being 20 pages and went through multiple rewrites in some areas, and yet, despite the effort that I put into some of them, I don't feel accomplished when they're done. It's almost like my brain is just like, oh, okay, we done with that, I guess, and then just moves on to the next thing. There's no fanfare, no achievement, like not even relief. The same can be said about my art. You know, despite this being a YouTube channel, I get a lot of really nice comments saying that people like my art just as much, if not even more than they say that they like my videos. Though I've been writing for longer than I have been an artist, I would say that I've definitely put more time into drawing than I have into writing. I've been thinking about making a history of my art video sometime, but I don't know if anyone would be interested in that. Let me know in the comments, I guess. I've put so many hours into my art that if someone were to tell me that nearly a fifth of my waking life has been so far dedicated to it, I would not even be surprised. And yet, it's probably one of the things that I'm most insecure about. I've been posting art for probably about 6 years, though you can't find a lot of it anymore. This YouTube channel is the biggest audience I have ever had before, despite me having been posting and working hard on my art for so long. In some ways, it's really touching and joyous, and I appreciate it with all of my being, but in other ways, it's somewhat disquieting. With the online market as saturated as it is in the realm of artwork, it's more than difficult to stand out among the crowd. A lot of really talented and good artists will never have their passions take off, while even less artists will manage to make a business out of their craft. Of course, I know that whether you are successful or not is not directly attributed to your skill level. One may never succeed even though their work is amazing, while one may exceed with poor quality work. Art is incredibly subjective, so there is no true step-by-step process to success. One person may think that my art is good, while someone else may think that it's ugly or boring. Neither of them are wrong, it's just their personal taste and opinions. In a sense, my lack of success with my art is incredibly disheartening to me, even though I know that I'm not entitled to that success. I also know that my lack of success is not intrinsically tied to the value of me as a person or even the value of my work, and yet it feels that way. Maybe it's not that I'm just objectively unskilled, perhaps it's just because I don't stand out enough or because the algorithm doesn't show my work to people, and yet it feels just so awful. I'm stuck in a mindset that insists that everything I do is not good enough, even if other people claim it is. It feels that other people are disingenuous when telling me I'm skilled, and yet I simultaneously believe that no one thinks I'm skilled. In truth, I believe that I'm not skilled, and that no matter how hard I try, I will never be. It's like I feel that people care too much and yet not enough at the same time. This is also probably not helped by the fact that I don't often post the art that I create. This may seem like a little side tangent here I'm about to get into, but it is relevant, so I don't know if you could tell by my many art pieces I have made, speed paints I have done in a ligma.mp4, but I am pretty obsessed with a game called Hollow Knight. My mom got the game for me as an Xmas gift last year, and I now have about 300 hours on the game, and it has become an intense special interest for me. Autism, am I right? I have spent multiple days, maybe even weeks of time writing and drawing things related to it, and specifically related to an AU I have created. AU being alternate universe, of course. Even though I do post things that are just regular Hollow Knight content related, I pointedly do not post things that are specifically related to my AU. How I purposely don't even add a watermark or sign any of the art that I do that's related to the AU. I simply draw it and then get too afraid to post it. The only work that I have posted specifically related to the AU were the 2 reference pictures for Vesla and Auric, and then Ligma.mp4. And in all truth, I had a panic attack after posting each of the reference pictures. Even putting them in this video is probably going to give me another one, but you know. I have a lot of other reference pictures and art saved that I've created for the AU, but I'm just too afraid to post it. I feel like I'll be judged for my special interest, I suppose. I'm afraid of being seen as cringy or bad despite me trying to work past that mentality, so not only am I insecure about my artwork in general, but I'm also ashamed of my passions and purposely do not post things that I actually like or care about, just because I'm afraid. It's also kind of the same reason why I don't open commissions. When I was really young, I had commissions open for a time, but I never really had anyone ask for one. To be fair, at the time I had less than 50 followers and did traditional art and was a middle schooler and was really honestly bad at art, so of course no one was going to commission me. For fuck's sake, I didn't even have a commission sheet. My bio just said commissions open or some shit. And yet the fact that no one did has me convinced that no one would want to buy art from me. My sister always insists that if I made a commission sheet and actually started using my Twitter, then someone would commission me. My friend and girlfriend have also said that they would commission me if they were able, but in my brain, I feel that my sister is biased in my favor, being that he is my sister. My girlfriend is biased because she is my girlfriend. My friend is biased because he is my friend. It's like, I can't even imagine how or why someone would so much as like my art, much less why they would ever go as far as to pay money for it. A part of me knows that I am probably wrong. A part of me knows that the likely reason as to why I've never been asked to do a commission is because I do not have any set prices and because I do not advertise. And yet it just sits there and speaks to me as another reflection of my lack of skill. It tells me that my art is not worth being paid for, and it tells me that I am lacking. Now, I don't want to just end this video off on an incredibly depressing note where I have just essentially said, I hate myself, I have dug myself into a pit, and I refuse to climb out of it, because that is not how problems are solved. Nothing will ever get better if I do not make an active effort to change my thinking patterns and to change the way that I treat myself. Most of the work will be done behind closed doors and is not really something that everyone following me deserves to be privy to. However, there are probably going to be a couple of changes that I will make publicly. For one, I want to actually start using my Twitter account. It's overall a better place to post art, and I think it would be fun to perhaps interact with some of those who follow me. This video will probably be included in my first tweet since the one from like 5 months ago. After that, I'll probably be posting a commission sheet. If you are interested in a commission from me, then I'd like to know, even just in the comments of this video, just for some extra encouragement, I suppose. Furthermore, I'll be starting a Tumblr blog for my Hollow Knight AU related content. I will post all my safe for work art there and maybe ramble some, so if you are interested in that sort of thing from me, I have linked it in the description. More on art, I will be also making an 18+ NSFW blog sometime in July, where I will also probably take commissions. So watch out for that one, I guess. Finally, in the case of this channel, I wanted to start uploading more often. I have quite a lot of things I'd like to talk about and make videos based on, and I will try and get my next one out pretty soon after this one, hopefully within the first week or two of July. With that all being said, I just really want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you listening to me just ramble like a fool for a time. This has been on my mind for a while, so it feels good for me to be able to get this out and in the open like this. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like, and if you feel so inclined, I would love to hear any of your thoughts, personal experiences, and even suggestions in the comments. Again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Don't forget to stay magical.